And finally, we have Ms. Cyndi Lake she is the emergency planner from Alexandria Health Department in Virginia, who is presenting on We Get a Little Help from Our Friends.
Good morning. So I'm going to share with you some SNS lessons learned today from Alexandria, Virginia, and what I'm going to share is part of why I believe we got a score of 100 on our LTAR last year. Now, Alexandria is a small city. We're outside our nation's capital with about 140,000 population packed into just under 16 square miles. So very densely populated. Now, our lessons learned, they really come down to two simple things. The first thing is passion. We're all passionate about what we do. That's why we're here. We care about the health and well-being of our communities, and we want them to be prepared. The second thing is friendship. We all build relationships in our communities. That's the key to public health preparedness, is collaborating with our partners. But I suggest that we take that one step further and actually create true friendships with your responders and other agencies. Passion and friendship. These are two things that are not easily measurable, especially not on an LTAR. But I do believe that these are things that can help you advance your SNS planning. Use your passion to create those relationships. There's an energy that comes behind the passion about what we do, and use that to create those friendships. So how exactly can you do that in your community? Live in your community if you can. I know that's not always feasible and affordable, but if you live in the community, that's your home too. So you are a stakeholder, and other residents and agencies that work with you will see that. Volunteer in your community. There are always plenty of volunteer opportunities out there. Even if you only do an hour a month or an hour a week, you can go to a homeless shelter, mentor a child, work at a museum. I volunteer in my community as a first responder with the fire department. So not only does this give me credibility with other first responder agencies, not just fire, but police and sheriff and other agencies, because a lot of times public health has not always been viewed as a first responder. But when they see me and know that I volunteer, they know that I get it, that I understand it. And how can we ask people to join our Medical Reserve Corps and support the health department in an emergency when we can't even take the time ourselves to volunteer in our community? And it's also part of giving back to the community. The other thing, show your face as much as possible. Even to the point of people saying, why is this person always showing up to these meetings? But I think it's really important to always try to attend meetings in person, because people will recognize you, they'll know that you care, and you get to know people. People have a lot harder time saying no in person, whereas you give them a call or email them, it's much easier for them to say, no, I can't help you. But when you show up in person, they realize that you care. And I get that all the time. They're like, there's that public health person showing up at this meeting. And again, back to the emergency response. It's important for us to be at the table with fire, police, and the other responders so they know that public health has a seat at the table. Another thing, I mentioned this earlier, make friends with the people that you work with. Now, you're not going to be best buddies with everyone, and totally understand that. But get to know them personally. Ask them about their family, what they do on the weekends. This is our What is Public Health campaign. Law enforcement is public health. Grab lunch once in a while. Don't make it all about work all the time. And an example in Alexandria that may sound a little cheesy, but it's just one of those things that happens. I was helping to teach a CPR class, and we had MRC volunteers come in, and I hugged them in greetings. And we do that at city meetings. If you haven't seen someone for a while, you might give them a hug, and it's just normal. And I know it sounds kind of like the touchy-feely stuff, but that's what it is. It is the community, and I think that's what makes us a great community. Now, at our LTAR review last May, that feeling of friendship was evident in the room, and it was definitely clear to the reviewer when he came in, because everyone showed up early. It was not a business meeting. You know, you go to a business meeting and people are just kind of like not really talking at the beginning, and everyone's all suited up and professional. And this was more, it was old friends kind of getting back together. And the reviewer saw that. The reviewer commented on that. And while there are many other reasons I think that went into our LTAR score, this was a big part of it, that he could sense that community. So my suggestion to you is ignite your own passion in your community and use that energy to establish your friendships for SNS planning. In Alexandria, we pride ourselves on our close relationships, and those have prepared us for anything, whether hurricane, earthquake, H1N1. Excuse me. Those same relationships I've highlighted for SNS planning came together recently following a very tragic event. We had a line of duty death in our fire department and lost a very close friend and colleague. And everyone came together to support that in our time of mourning and loss, thanks to these already established friendships. Thank you.